just stepped into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age and experience. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis. We are two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we are here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating your career, growing your business, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So, buckle up. Let's dive into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're getting closer and closer to that D-Day, the day we celebrate Christmas, and we're just short of it. The traffic is already telling wherever you are. I'm sure you can see that. And we are part of your Midlife Revolution, and this is Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Good afternoon, good night, good morning, good new day, wherever you are. I am Coach Wayne, one of the hosts of Midlife Revolution, and I coach Black men to help them level up in their midlife. This is Coach Stacy M. Lewis. Stacy, good day.
Good day, Wayne. Good day. It is always such a pleasure to be here. And no matter how many times I hear that intro music, it still makes me happy. It means that we're here and ready for another live episode. And I'm just so excited to be here. Welcome again to the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. As it says, I am Stacy M. Lewis. I'm a nonprofit executive. I'm a lover of God and his people and a midlife women's coach. And my honor here today is to really help us move through another episode of the Midlife Compass. For those of you that have tuned in to our previous episodes of the series, we've talked about reconnecting and reflecting. We've talked about stopping the comparison cycle. And today we are excited to talk about using your vision and your values and ensuring that they're aligned so that you can move forward ready for 2025.
Yep. Stacy, the company that I founded and focus on in terms of coaching is called VIP Transformative Living. And people typically believe it means very important person. Well, that's probably what we have people becoming. But it really represents what we're talking about today: values, identity, and purpose. And as we get into 2025, we're focusing on values because we believe that when you are in alignment with your values, you find a greater sense of fulfillment and completion, a sense of satisfaction and wholeness. And so as we talk about visioning for 2025, today, we want to entrain you to think alongside the idea of values alignment.
Yeah, the reality, Wayne, is that, as we age, as we have various experiences, our values evolve. And due to whether it be work life, your career goals, family situation, life happens and we can lose sight of what our values are. And so this is an opportunity to really talk about our values, reconnecting with our values, and really making sure that our values are aligned so that our vision is based really on who we authentically are. I reflect on a time recently when, there was a little bit of a situation at work, and what someone was saying, kind of my internal meter was like, is this the truth? And it caused me to really immediately say, like, one of my values is honesty. And
Mhm.
so I had to find the way to connect with her and what she was saying that would help ensure what she was saying was truthful, so that as I moved forward based on what she's saying, that I'm moving forward with my values in alignment with my next action. So I really think that this making sure that our values are aligned with our vision is critical to moving forward and doing so in a way that really bolsters our authentic walk.
I would say, Stacy, that if and that's powerful what you just shared, because you can sell yourself easily if you are not in keeping with your values. And we're going to talk about the types of values, the differences in them. Uh, if you're not truly at the outset or onset carefully checking out your values, then the price you pay in the end can be very expensive. What I mean by that,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you're not walking in alignment with your values, you're likely to be sold for any price.
Mm. Wayne, one of the parts that we talked about as we prepare for this episode is the idea of core values versus mean values. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So, we talk about values, which are things that are important to us. They drive us. Our values drive us, right? You have your beliefs, and your beliefs kind of shape your values. And your values drive your behavior, your thoughts, your actions, your habits, your outcomes. And sometimes when we look at values, we look at things that are, in a way, superficial.
Mm.
It's called means values. You ever heard the means to an end?
Hmm.
And so core values are also known as end values. For example, if I said to someone, getting a huge home is a value, the truth of the matter when you blow that up or explore it is a value, but it's what we call a means value, meaning it
Hmm.
takes you to something else, a place of either an emotional place, a place of status. And what that might mean for someone at the core level is a big house is about security. It's
Mm.
about a show of uh, power, prosperity, but there is something beyond the big house. So if prosperity for that person is important, then it may not have to come with the big house. It may come through another means. So when we look at core values, we want to strip it all the way down to the
Mm.
core, to the bones, right? And that way you can easily, like we live here in the United States, Stacy, and we have lots of privileges. And so, especially at midlife, as we get older and our values change, peace of mind for me is an important value.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so for me, I don't have to have peace of mind in a huge mansion. I could probably find that if I went and lived back in Jamaica, the Panama, or Costa Rica,
Hmm.
where I could live off the land. And so again, the for me, that's what's driving a lot of the things I do, if that makes sense.
Oh no, it certainly makes sense, and I think another way to think about um, values is when you think about your non-negotiables, right? Like,
Yes.
what are your non-negotiables? It's a question that we should ask ourselves, every now and then, to just really reconnect with our values. A non-negotiable is, if I think you're lying to me, we have a huge issue. Honesty is such a core for me, that, to me, it's like, okay, my non-negotiable is, if I think you're a liar or you've demonstrated yourself to not tell the truth consistently,
Yeah.
you got to go.
And Stacey, that's the reason why those of us who are immersed in faith, right, depending on what
Hmm.
your faith is, travel. with value systems that are usually built into that faith, right? If you're a Christian, there are
Mm-hmm.
some values that people expect and anticipate of you, right? You should live a certain way to demonstrate that you're a believer in Christ, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so these are values that sometimes are, and of course, people have values placed on them, unfortunately, by their environment sometimes. And if it's not your thing, if it's not your core, your soul, then you're going to feel outside of your authentic self, as you
Correct.
pointed out. Yeah.
I totally agree. And while the Compass series, our Midlife Compass series, is focused on the broader scope of visioning and moving into 2025 ready, right, on Jan 1 to hit the ground running, not ready to start planning on Jan 1. We want to make sure that we're honoring our values every day in our everyday life. So it's not only ensuring that your values are aligned with your vision for 2025 and beyond, but also ensuring that you're connecting and honoring your values in your everyday walk and practice.
Yeah. And so it's also, we have several domains that we exist in where, like you pointed out, we're not just work related beings or home related beings. We have different lives, different
Mhm.
domains.
Mhm.
We have our spiritual domain, our work domain, our activities and entertainment domain, and different areas. And when we look at values, one of the recommendations is to see if you have common values across all domains, right? And you talked about honesty.
Mhm.
Well, you can't just be honest at home and steal at work, right? It,
Yeah.
it, it really has to resonate across the board. And you can test to see if these are true core values. There are people who, as they say, sell out.
Mhm.
They will do things when the lights are out because it gets them through their day, or it's about money. Look at what we're seeing happening in this country in terms of
Mm.
leadership. A
Yeah.
lot of folks are, I think, going against their nature in terms of their core values, how they grew up, and profess to stand for and stand by just to belong to the popular group or another group. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And it does speak volumes. One of the things, that you and I often talk about is the core beliefs, right? Are those core values, and to really make sure that your actions, your associations, um, are in alignment with your values. Your words are in alignment with your values so that we don't end up like some of what we're seeing in leadership, looking at them like you are not telling the truth.
Yeah.
And, yet there they are. One of the things I think we should definitely spend some time on, Wayne, is really this idea of visioning for 2025 and beyond. And we both believe that it's really important to have a forward-looking mindset when we think about moving forward into the next year. And that mindset should also be rooted in the present. Where are we now? We talked about this in the Reconnect and Reflect episode. Really assessing where we are now. What have we learned? Things of that nature. Um, but now we get to talk a little bit about the wisdom and the resilience of the where we are now and how that's going to help us move forward, of course, in alignment with our values, develop some authentic goals related to what we see our future to be.
Yes. When we talk about reflection and looking back, it's truly about being able to recalibrate and determine what gets either renewed or left back, and what gets propelled in terms of built on and used in the future. So it's getting a sense of weight to see how we performed, what we did, and again, did this really align with the values? What did we start out looking for and hoping to gather as we project into visioning for next year? Do we think this, is it baggage, or is it stuff that we can use, gold mine, so to speak, that we can use to propel ourselves into 2025? And I think, Stacy, for me, and I think for a lot of the men that I've worked with at Midlife, you get to the place where just having trophies and shiny objects don't do it anymore, right? And as you think about your next step, you start looking at what do you really value and plan in accordance to those alignments, as you just pointed out. And so you look at last year's stuff and leave the dead weight and move forward.
Correct. If you haven't learned from the dead weight, definitely you want to leave it where it is, whether it's in 2023, 2024, 2020, wherever that dead weight comes from, let it rest there. Learn the lesson. Let's keep it moving forward. If I were running a workshop of midlife women, and we were really talking about this visioning for 2025 and beyond, one thing I would do is a bit of an interactive visualization activity. And I want to know how this resonates with you, Wayne. I don't know if I primarily coach women, so I don't know if this would really resonate with men, the men in our listening and viewing audience. But one thing that can be very powerful is to spend some time, eyes closed, kind of really separating yourself and acknowledging or starting to vision like it is December 2025. What does thriving look like in December 2025? What does thriving feel like? What does it smell like? What are the sights and the feelings of a thriving December 2025 for you? To really spend some time visualizing that and then writing out, right, some of that experience so that you can really have a bit of a vision for where you're going. Is that something that would resonate with men? Tell me.
So funny you ask. I've had sessions with men, and a lot of the work I do is virtual. You have to certainly build the confidence and trust before you ask a brother to close his eyes.
Absolutely. Sisters too,
Yeah. But it's possible. But to add to it, the idea of a vision board, Stacy, is powerful. And again, not all brothers are ready to do that. But to take the vision board idea in a pragmatic way is where the rubber hits the tarp for brothers. For example, if part of the vision is to start a new business, instead of simply having brothers visualize it, which is powerful because you can always walk around with that in a sight, but to add to it, to have them actually visit the location or visit the place where the signage is available and start, touching, feeling. If like if you want to buy a car, instead of just thinking it through, go to where the cars are sold. Drive it, smell the leather, feel the leather, and make sure that that comes to life as you can hold that, as you said, know what it feels like, smells like,
Mhm,
sounds like,
mhm,
more of
mhm,
that, and
mhm.
use that as part of your visioning as you move into your dream or your next plan.
Yeah, I think I might have to go to the Maserati dealer now just to, smell it, sit in it, take a picture of myself
Yeah.
in it. But what we're saying is that visioning should involve some visualization, right? Some real intentional time. Um, Maybe a little dreaming is in there, but really thinking about where you want to be in December 2025. And all of those things that you and I just talked about. And then, this is Wayne's favorite part, everyone. Then starting to put that into a bit of an action plan, right? Setting some goals.
Yes. Some to do things, right? Real get up and move things. And
Yes, yes. Wayne likes goals. He likes
yeah,
talking about goals. Yes, yes.
yeah. I want to show and share, and please join me, Stacy. We were talking about when we look at values as it aligns with our mission and goals and vision for 2025 and in the workplace, we talked about having a sense of alignment with your general work. So for example, as you start projecting and looking forward to moving into the area of work and business, vocation, entrepreneurship, is the general work that you're talking about in alignment with your values? Does it
Mhm.
offer, if ambition is your goal, if innovation is your goal, you know what I mean? If these are things, optimism is your goal, then you want to be in a place that offers those things. It resonates with you so that Monday morning you feel okay to put them socks on and put your feet on the ground and start walking out the door,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? That's one area in terms of how, when you vision for your next move, you want to align with that. The other one, Stacy, and is work environment,
Mhm.
and you can understand easily how the environment in which you work must be in alignment with what you value. Physically, it's got to be a clean place if you value cleanliness and order, right? uh, no noise pollution if those things matter to you in terms of value. But what about the environment in terms of its professionalism, the ethics in the space, the
Yeah.
discipline? Yes.
No, you're spot on to me, and I really think that, when I think about the the values, the vision, and the alignment, you're absolutely right. That it's not just the job. It really is the personal, right? So that if you're not getting all of that on the job, and the job is really the means to an end, in your personal life, how are your values aligning with your vision? In your professional life, like you said, how are they aligned? And then I think when I think of an action plan, um, there are similar goals. Like, what is a goal for your personal life? What is a goal for your professional life? And then wanting to make sure that the fire stays lit in you. What is a goal for a passion project?
Mm, love it. Love it. Love it. And as we set those goals, there are two more that I might want to share, Stacy, and they are relationships
Mm,
in terms of both work and at home, the values that you have around those issues and those areas, that part of your life. You know, does the relationship that you have or want to build or be a part of, does it show empathy,
Mm.
authenticity? Are people real, where you are? Is there fairness, right? And equity being channeled in terms of those relationships? If those
Mhm.
are values you look for, don't sign the dotted line if they're absent, right? And yeah, of course, and you can speak to that, Stacy. And then the last one, of course, is work activities and tasks. But you could feel free, Stacy, to share what you think about relationships and those pieces.
Yeah, I think the thing about relationships when we're talking about values, um, is that we want to really even assess our relationships in alignment with our values. As we think about folks that may be in our lives, sometime optional. As we think about that, um, those folks that are in our lives, those relationships that we may have that are not necessarily aligned with our values, we often find draining. Whether we acknowledge it or not, they are often draining. And if something is draining us, that means that it is draining the opportunity, the capacity for us to really vision, right? To be creative, because something is draining us, is really hindering our ability to move forward because they're not aligned with our values. And so if we you can't really, cut people out, chop, chop, chop. But think about those relationships that you have that may be less aligned with your values and ways that you can manage them so that they are at least less draining, or distance yourself, reprioritize your time a bit so that that impact is less a negative one on you, and you can really stay aligned with your own values and really foster your own ability to vision for 2025 and beyond.
Powerful words. Stacy, who says you can't cut them out? Relationships that ain't working. Yeah,
Well,
you can.
I'm gonna leave that alone. There are definitely some draining folks in my life. Some, a little bit related. While there may be love there, sometimes there is a little values disconnect.
Cut them out, Stacy.
And
Cut them out for 25. Project 25.
well, like I said, I realize it's not always that easy. So we all don't expect more of our clients than we expect of ourselves. So I can't say I will cut them out, but I am attentive to when the values are not aligned and it becomes a little draining. And I'm like, okay, I need to go read a book now.
Yeah.
So good talking to you.
And to use a fourth aspect of valuation, so to speak, as
Hmm.
you vision
Hmm.
for 2025, especially in the world of work. And I like to talk about midlifers and challenge them to do that because, listen, this is the phase where the no nonsense should happen, right?
Yeah,
The older we get, the more we
absolutely.
should be able to be straight shooters. We've already had to play the game and learn the code switching and all that. But now, look, now it's time to just mature and ripen and call it for what it is and live in alignment with your values and so forth. Share who your authentic self is, the identity. And the last one that I want to share is
Mhm.
look at your work activities, the task. Do you value these tasks that you've been called upon to perform, or
Mhm.
are you truly doing what you're supposed to be doing the way you're supposed to doing it in alignment with your value? If you say that you're truly about efficiency and you know you're
Mhm.
cutting corners, you're lying to
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
So don't plan to make that a part of the carry forward into 2025, right? Be an efficient person. Make that value true to who you
Mhm.
are.
Mhm.
You
No,
can
that's
practice.
good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, "Oh yeah, if you uh believe in attention to detail, yet the things that come across your desk or even in your business, you're not really paying attention to the details, then you need to do a little reevaluation, right? You need to
Yeah.
take a look at that. I totally agree with you. I think are a couple of questions maybe or some activities we can suggest to our audience as next episode we will be talking about planning and strategizing. So as we have moved the midlife compass series through, our hope is that we have really given you some steps to start to prepare to really vision for 2025 and beyond. And so then we'll talk about how to use all of that to put in put it into action, right? A little bit of planning, a little bit of strategy, and then some action.
Love it.
One activity I would say, Wayne, or maybe some interactive questions and homework for our listening audience is to maybe think about what genuinely excites you or energizes you. Think about what those non negotiables are that we talked about earlier, and spend some time writing, journaling, video, audio recording um, about your current values and what they are today and how you want to move forward into 2025 with them as the foundation.
And I have a exercise that I share with folks
Hmm.
that I coach, and I'm going to share it with you. And it's the 5 whys. And it's really when you are examining something that you think may be important, ask yourself, why is it important to me? And when you get that answer, why is it important to me?
Hmm.
You ask that question 5 folds, and you'll start seeing that core values start popping up.
Hmm.
So just keep peeling the onion, getting down deeper and deeper to the core.
That's good, Wayne. That's good. Overall, we are here to remind you that your values are your compass. They are what will lead, drive, decide how you act, how you behave. Your vision is where you're going. And for 2025 at least, you want to set that 1 year destination that is part definitely of the 5 year or the 10 year destination. But our hope is that indeed the Midlife Revolution Unleashed is a blessing to you, is giving you nuggets to act upon. And I believe my dear co-host has something that he wants to make sure we are sharing, because
Yes,
that's how this episode today is brought to you by Breaking Free. Discover your purpose, your
power and
passion,
possibility.
and your possibility in midlife.
Well, it's actually prosperity, but I like to say possibility as well, right? It's all good.
All
It's all
right.
good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you, Stacy. And that is the course that I'm offering to folk. Just DM me, uh, you know, on my LinkedIn if you follow, or my Facebook, whichever one you're watching tonight, or in the repeat, wherever you are, podcast, LinkedIn, uh, YouTube. Stacy,
Sir.
at my stage and age,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, compass is so important to me, Stacy. I need a compass to figure it out. If I get up in the middle of the night to go to the kitchen or the bathroom and the lights are out, I get lost finding my way back. So what we're providing today in terms of this series, this compass, I would say for midlifers, get on board and find your directives and direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're here cheering you on. I'm cheering you on. Coach Wayne is going to see you at the top. We appreciate you, your listening time, your viewing time, and certainly look forward to your comments.
Thank you, Stacy. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will be back next week doing this again, same time. Bye, folks.
And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey, we truly appreciate your spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know in the comments and share it with others. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.